my name is Erin, and today I am going to show you how to prune these boxwoods. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a shape up, and spring is the perfect time to do it. Boxwoods provide a formal element to this Victorian garden, and you can see these two up close here. I've already given a quick little prune, getting them more into that conical shape, and these two in the back here are still looking a little bit shaggy. They've got some new growth going on. So I'm going to demonstrate on these in terms of pruning boxwoods. So these are Buxus sempervirens. The cultivar of all four of these is D. Runk, D-E-E-R-U-N-K. All of these boxwoods were planted in 2007 when the garden was installed, about 2005 or 2006. So they are well established, they're mature, so I generally prune them once every spring. Generally you want to prune them before the new growth starts. Right here you can see lots of the new little growth. So ideally you prune them in early March before that new growth starts. But because of the circumstances of this springtime, I was not able to get to them. But because I know that they're mature, established, healthy, they've been doing really good the last few years, I am totally fine to prune them right now. And generally boxwoods are pretty tough and can handle a lot of pruning. You generally, as a rule, never want to prune more than a third of them at one time, which we will definitely not be doing, just trying to shape them back into that conical shape. And of course, the most important tool when pruning boxwoods is your pruners or your clippers. I prefer to use Felco 7s, and these have the swivel handle, and this helps reduce the wear and tear on my hand, and especially in making lots of cuts on these boxwoods, I really prefer them just to reduce that load on my hands. And especially if I figure if I'm going to be doing this for many years, then I should go ahead and start taking care of my hands now. You may be wondering why I decided to prune these boxwoods with hand pruners, and one of the reasons is because each of my cuts can be much more accurate compared to if I was doing the pruning with electric shears. Another reason to prune by hand is to reduce the amount of leaves that are cut. For example, you can see one here that's been cut, and that edge will turn brown. And so by hand pruning, we're being more accurate with each of our cuts and therefore reducing the amount of leaves that are cut and turn brown, which might happen more if you were using electric pruners. For the actual pruning, you want to make sure that you make your cut just a 1/4 inch above the leaf axil. So here, just a 1/4 inch above where that leaf connects to the stem. So here, again, just that 1/4 inch above that axil. So sometimes you might have a boxwood that's not growing totally perfectly. For example, this one has a couple holes, has one here, has one there, has one up there. And so I just try to be really conscious when I'm pruning to kind of work around those holes, not make them any bigger. If I can, kind of prune in a way to cover them and make sure that I just keep them in mind and don't accentuate them as I'm doing my pruning. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is make sure that each of these boxwoods is uniform. And the way that I do that is by having these bamboo sticks. So these are the exact same size, and they have little marks right in the middle. So I'm going to put these kind of in a cross through the middle of the boxwood, and then that helps me know where my boundaries are when I start pruning. So this just gives me a rough estimate of where kind of the edge of the base of the boxwood should be. Okay, I did the preliminary pruning, so now I'm just going to do a walk around. So it's looking pretty good, but over on this angle, it's looking a little bit lopsided to me if you look at it straight on. So that means I'll need to prune the left side a little bit more and take in the base of the right side, I think. Let's go look at this angle. Looking okay from this angle. Maybe I could work on the little lopsidedness a little bit. Walking around, looking pretty good from this angle for sure. And how about over here? Looking okay. I can see the lopsidedness a little bit. This right side over here, or this left side over here, was pretty dense. When there were perennials in the garden, they kind of shaded out this side a little bit last year during the kind of peak of the summer. So I'm wondering if that might be why that left side is a little bit dense. Alright, so I'm going to do some touch up on that, and then we'll check back in. Okay, so I did the last touch-ups, and sorry the sunlight's not a great angle, but this is the final product. There we go. See the one on the right's pruned, the one on the left is still a little shaggy. Again, nothing drastic, just to really trim them up, get all of that new growth kind of in line where we want it. Whenever I'm done doing a lot of pruning with these pruners, I make sure to spray them with this Felco 980 spray, and it does all of the cleaning, lubricating, and protecting of my pruners to make sure that I keep them in really good condition. I just spritz down the blade, I let it sit for a couple minutes, and then I wipe it off, and it just helps me keep my pruners sharp, oiled, and good to go. Okay, that is all I have for how to prune these boxwoods. I hope you learned something today, and thank you all for watching. Bye.